Hello, good morning all. So we are in the chapter respiration organisms now, and we discussed the three types of respiration. One is aerobic respiration, the other one is two different ways of anaerobic respiration. One is in animals and the other one is in yeast or microorganisms, aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria. Okay. The next topic that we are going to discuss, that is about the breathing. Okay. So what is this breathing? Breathing is a simple inhalation of oxygen and exhalation giving out of carbon dioxide. That is a process called breathing. During breathing, we are taking in oxygen by the help of a respiratory system. We will study what are the important parts of a respiratory system. And the breathing process, it may be different for different times and it may be different for different persons. Okay. So in case of this infants and also childhood, the number of breathing or breathing rate is very high compared to that of the adults. So what is breathing rate? The number of times a person breathes in a minute, that is called a breathing rate. Okay. So the breathing rate, it will be very high during heavy exercises, or just after the exercises we are breathing so fastly. Do you know for what it is? In the beginning itself we studied that respiration is a process by which the glucose is broken down to release energy. So during fast exercises the demand for energy is very high, but the supply of oxygen is very less. Okay, so in order to compensate this, just after this exercise or during this exercise we are taking deep breaths. Okay, did you get the idea now? So this deep breaths can contribute more oxygen to our body. The more oxygen results in the breakdown of more glucose and more release of energy. Okay, that is why during physical activities the number of breathing or breathing rate will be very high. The normal breathing rate in an adult person, that is usually in between 15 to 80 times. 15 to 80 times. Okay, and it will be increase or decrease based on the physical activity. Okay, then you can see there is a table in page number 110. Okay, the table that you have to fill the changes in breathing rate under different conditions. Normal condition after a brisk walk for 10 minutes, after running fast 100 meter, and at rest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this rows are there, 5 persons you can select if it is possible. Otherwise write 1 or 2 persons, the name of your friend or neighbor or your family member, then write the breathing rate at different occasions. Okay, so how do we breathe? Breathing is usually by the help of one respiratory system. Okay, normally we are taking in through our nostrils. Nostrils is a gateway of gases. It is starting of our respiratory system. Okay, this nostrils open to a cavity called a nasal cavity. Nasal cavity, the air from the nasal cavity, the air enters into the lungs. Okay, because the nasal cavity open to a pipe called windpipe or trachea. Then the trachea divides into two. Each part enters into the respective lungs. Okay, where we can see the lungs. Lungs are situated inside the chest cavity or inside the rib cage. Then just below the lungs and also chest cavity we can see one hard muscular sheath. One hard muscular sheath, that's hard muscular sheath is known as a diaphragm. The diaphragm can initiate the movements of our respiratory system. So breathing constitutes two events. One is the inhalation and the other one is the exhalation. So just take in very strongly or inhale very strongly and just notice what are the changes that happen to your body or your chest cavity. So during inhalation you can see that the ribs or chest cavity moves upwards and the diaphragm moves down. So because of this movement, there is a space inside in our chest cavity. The space increases. Because of this increase in the pressure space, the air can rushes to inside. The lungs may get filled with the air. Then what is happening during exhalation? During exhalation, the ribs move down and inwards. The diaphragm moves up to its formal position. Usually or normally the diaphragm is arch shaped. ഒരു റാട്ട പോലെയാണ് ഡയഫ്രം കാണുന്നത്. ഈ റിബ്സിൻ്റെയും അതുപോലെ ലങ്സിൻ്റെയും താഴെ അടിയിലായിട്ട് റാ ഷേപ്പായിട്ടാണ് ആര് കാണുന്നത്? ഡയഫ്രം കാണുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ഒറിജിനൽ ഷേപ്പ്. സോ ഡ്യൂറിങ് എക്സലേഷൻ ദ ഡയഫ്രം മൂവ്സ് ഡൗൺ ആൻഡ് ഇൻവേർഡ്സ് moves up at its former position, and this reduces the size of the chest cavity and the air is pushed out. So these are the changes occurs in our body during inhalation and exhalation. So one more activity you can see in page number 113. That is nothing, that is you have to measure the size of your chest cavity by using a tape during inhalation and exhalation. Not only yourself, your classmates you also want to write the measurement and want to see what is the difference in the measurement. It will be different for different persons based on the body shape. So read the chapter very carefully and study the important parts of our respiratory system. Okay, the remaining part of the chapter that we will discuss in the next class. Okay.